We have about 25 minutes, half an hour, which, as someone up here who shall remain nameless said, that's one of Bradley's answers. So we're going to get through this. I'm going to start, Elisabeth, with you. Elisabeth directed 4 episodes this season, including the 2 that we just watched. And correct me if I'm wrong, but your first directorial job was Handmaid's Tale season 4?
Yes.
Awesome. So tell me about, what was the first scene you guys shot this year?
Oh, the first scene this year? Everything on the train was up first, which meant that all of my work in episode 1 pretty much was up in the first 2 weeks of shooting. So that was fun. So yeah, it was all train. I think we started pretty much at the beginning, but we didn't start with the crane shot. I won't get into it. It's boring. We did that last because we had to move anyway, like I said, I wouldn't get into it, but I did. So we started, I think, with probably me sitting on the ground, and the handheld stuff we tried to go in order as much as possible, and we were able to with the train stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Coming into this season and directing, what was the biggest difference from when you were first behind the camera and like, holy whatever?
I still don't know if I have a good answer for this question. I was asked this before, and I
never mind. Let's move on.
No. It's fine. No, it's a good question. I like the question. It's interesting. I haven't been able to figure it out. I think that maybe for me, I thought about this after actually. Maybe for me, it's having more options than I used to, especially as an actor. So knowing to give myself more options in the editing room and try different things to just in a very cold way. I know I have that. I know I have that. I know I have that. So I think that's a difference. And then the other thing is probably shooting a little bit more economically in the sense of like not doing 5 hallway shots that I'm never going to use, like just the one, which might make it into the show, but not the 5 transitions, which not going to be there. So that's probably shooting a little more and shooting a little less.
Although the director's cut of just hallway shots, I cannot wait to see
They're
that.
gorgeous.
Stunning.
They're gorgeous.
Stunning.
Yeah.
It's a great title, too.
Just hallways. Yeah. Josh, I'm going to come to you next. So we didn't know that you were playing High Commander Wharton before we came into this season. Oh, why the secrecy, dude? What's up? What's up with that?
I have no idea why the secrecy. Lizzie, why the secrecy?
It literally is probably my fault. I think that, because I'm so anti-spoiler, I think we wanted to keep it secret for as long as possible, but it wasn't meant to be like forever. Yeah. Like obviously people were going to see it, but I think we did want to kind of have the reveal of him in episode 1 with this very cinematic sort of mysterious reveal be how you first saw him. And I actually like that you don't really know who he is until you're almost at the end of that scene with Nick. It gives it this whole other layer of, I don't know, mystery for lack of a better word. So that's kind of why, but
That makes sense.
Yeah.
By the way, he was fucking great.
So good. So good.
Right off the bat, I was very excited watching it, and I don't like to watch other actors work.
Josh, I feel like Wharton is one of those characters that unfolds a lot as the season goes on, right? He's from D.C. We know what happens in D.C. in this show, right? Anyone? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The thing and the mat, right? Oh. Okay. Lizzie just said, oh, like she didn't know what I was talking about. All I'm saying is they tend to be a little bit more intense there in their Gilead-ness. Talk to me about where he shakes out in the commanders that we've known already. Like, kind of give me a sense of where he falls. Is he super powerful? Is he super hardcore? What's the gist of him?
Yeah, when talking to Lizzie and Eric and Yellen before we started, I think they had said that the idea was that he, pre-Gilead, was a politician and imagined him a congressman or a senator or something. And that made sense to me because he is someone who sort of, yes, he's a high commander based in D.C. I think he has aspirations to lead and lead Gilead and preserve the Republic. But he is he also reads the tea leaves. I think he has that politician quality and is able to sort of, gently but firmly kind of guide things where he wants, but take consensus seemingly. And that's what politicians do, or college presidents do. So I think he has that element to him, which I found interesting.
Bradley.
Here we go. And good night, folks.
Strap in, everyone. So Commander Lawrence, like what we saw a little bit of how they interact. Commander Lawrence doesn't get along well with anyone, if I may.
It's very annoying. I feel sorry for Lydia, honest to God. So rude.
But
Sorry,
I'm
dear,
wondering with the new Bethlehem of it all, like what are Commander Lawrence's feelings about Wharton at the beginning of the season, and do they change as we move through?
I'm trying to think about how much they.
Into?
What?
Into?
Into.
They know each other?
Yeah.
I believe the last scene in 2 that you guys
It's
had
kind of
together.
a question you should ask before you act the scene. If you think about it.
You're asking now.
I think I was.
spoke to Josh for 90 minutes before he said yes to the role.
We work
and
very
he had questions
differently.
that you have never asked.
Yeah,
By the way, that I've never asked either.
I thought it was Josh Molina.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think we were aware of each other, and I was aware of his power, and I think suspicious of this kind of creature.
Because he's been referenced before.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Of course I knew that. Yeah, why would you even say that?
Just helping you out, bro. Just helping you out.
Just insulting, really.
Yeah.
That you would even think that you didn't know that was something that's been mentioned a few times. over the
Yeah.
They're kidding. We did talk about it. We did.
Yeah.
We did know that. Yes, they knew each other before, and yes.
And Bradley and I rehearsed the scene, on our own too, at the hotel for hours.
Yes.
All right. All kidding aside, I am rather struck by how Lawrence flouts convention as much as June did, and both of them are still standing in this last season. That's quite a challenge that a lot of other people have gone to the wall, as he points out. What do you think about him is like kind of the core thing that has kept him going, kept him alive?
Well, I think they're. We're obviously very different creatures, but one thing we have in common is that we're survivors. I think after I lost Eleanor, where the consequences, it's sort of a sad statement that I think is true about human nature, is that we don't, until the consequences of events hit us personally, we don't realize the full impact of them. But I think once I lost Eleanor, I think there's a kind of reckless abandon to him where I just internally thought he's going to go as far out there as he has to. He's not worried about dying anymore.
Anne, I'm coming to you now.
Okay, sweetheart.
All right.
Did you see her shirt, Anne?
Yeah, I love it.
I'm sorry, Aunt Lydia.
I'm going to get my cattle prod up. I'll be back.
Yeah, for those of you who can't see, there's a woman in the front who has a
Necessary
shirt that
item.
says, "I'm sorry, Aunt Lydia," on it.
She's sitting awful close, don't you think? Very nervy.
Brave.
Girl.
So
Watch
Aunt
yourself.
Lydia was not in the first 2 episodes, right? You guys, I know, but I can tell you she is in the third, and she's in the third quite a bit. So we're not going to spoil anything, but Anne, this season feels very much like a radicalization of Aunt Lydia to me. What is your take on that?
I would agree with you. I think there's a very powerful arc for her, which I think is brilliantly written. And makes tremendous sense over a 6-year period where she ends up. It's really good, I think. That's not very helpful, but but I do think it's a very strong arc.
So what we can talk about too is that the Testaments. Who in here has read or listened to the Testaments?
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good for you.
For those who haven't, it's Margaret Atwood's sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. And Aunt Lydia is a central character, and Anne is going to star in the show that Hulu is making about, and Lizzie is producing, and it's all
Thank
very
you very
awesome.
much.
Yeah.
I'm bringing all these guys with me. Nobody knows that yet.
Can you talk to me a little bit about, we've seen you have to do some very brutal scenes over the course of this season.
Yes.
Over the course of the show. Do you have to amp yourself up, or is that kind of just there and you tap in and you go?
I used to say that when that question was asked frequently, in the beginning I thought, well, I can't say I love it. I have to say, yes, I spent some time trying to go to a place where the nuns who taught, whatever. What the true answer is, I can't get there fast enough. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to play, especially when you go home and everybody has their eyes and their fingers. You know, nobody's left injured, and go home, have a beverage, and go to sleep. It's a wonderful system, a wonderful pattern. I recommend it. Recommend.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm also, I wonder if you can give us a little, is Aunt Lydia okay? Because that's not, I'm actually being serious.
Fascinating question. Continue.
We see there's a mention in the next episode about a diagnosis, and she kind of waves it away. That's not a spoiler. You're going to see it when you get home. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I can see it right now.
What can you tell us about that?
I think she's aging, and I think what happens in the course of every day for her relationship with the girls whom she loves, her Janine, who is, you just can't keep in order what she's up to, which drives Lydia mad. Lydia loves her. She's her daughter, and that's just the way it is. But I think over time, it affects her. It changes her. It changes her health, her mental health, her physical health. It begins to show up. She's not young. She's not young, never was in our show. Do you know? And aging, I can attest. Things happen where you think, wait a minute now. Yesterday I was not doing this. What's going on? You'll see. It's subtle, but it's present. And all of you who are old in here, I get it, darlings. It's just a trip. It really is. But I think it's a wonderful arc for her.
I have to just say the vulnerability that I think Anne brings to this season, it's always been there, which is what has made Lydia so interesting and so complicated. But I do think, and close your ears, Anne, that there are not many actresses that be willing to go to the vulnerable, open place, complicated place that she goes to this season. And I don't know anyone else who could do it in the way that she did it this year.
Thank you, sweetheart.
It's true.
Thank you so much.
It's really
That's
true.
beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you. So
Lizzie, I'm
generous.
going to start with you. I'm going to open it up to basically everyone except Josh, who's been here for a while. But it's a heavy show. That's feedback I'm sure you guys get. People talk about that it's a good show. It's a hard show. But then you guys put out videos of you dancing in between takes and that kind of thing. And it seems like a place that's very joyful to shoot. I'm wondering if you can think of, so with that in mind, I'm wondering if you can think of a day that you were shooting some like seriously hard stuff, but was also like one of the most fun times you've been around.
Are you asking me first?
Looking at you, Mama.
Okay. Every day is like, so being a director on the show is very, it's like being a kindergarten teacher or a mom. I can't tell you how many times I've said, like, I will turn this car around. Like, it's like herding kittens, just trying to get them to be serious for 2 to 2.5 minutes. Because it's a serious scene. And so and I love that. I love that. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's so much fun working on our show, and it comes from these actors and it comes from this crew, and our experience making it is so different from the experience of watching it and the experience that we intend you to have watching it. I mean, our set is so much fun. We have guest actors come and crew who come who just like love working on our set because it's actually so much fun. He's a main culprit for sure.
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking.
Really?
But and again, close your ears. It's wonderful because we can be exhausted out in the cold. You've got a crew who has perhaps driven a long way to get there. They're tired. And you have somebody like Brad walk onto set, or any of these guys walk onto set and make this crew laugh and bring them joy. And they look forward to their arrival, and they look forward to this person bringing some light into the day. And that to me is more important than anything. So I love it.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Can any of you guys think of a particular scene that you were shooting where that was happening?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I can't think
No,
of a particular.
what's a
because it's
specific?
every day.
It's I really not to be pretentious, but I like it's. I worry about my desire to not take acting seriously, but I think it's important in a weird way not to have the anvil of art on your shoulder. Like, telling a story is hard enough. And I think for you, you said it once perfectly. You said you want to take the work seriously without taking yourself seriously. Doing it. And I really do feel, all kidding aside for just 10 seconds, that I feel like it's the best way to access emotional stuff, no matter what's going on. I gotta say, this human being, she's doing Sophie's Choice, the series, as if Meryl Streep directed it. No human being, I've never seen anybody create agency as an actor over storytelling in a way this human being has done it.
I agree.
100%.
100%.
Ridiculous. And you know, the mood on the set, which is not only raucous but sweet, is because it's you. I mean,
I agree. Such a bright light, sweetheart. Oh,
I agree.
Yeah, we can clap for that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, as someone who came in new, I think I can give the perspective of, you don't know, having done TV shows before, you don't know what you're walking into. And Lizzie assured me, like, this is a great group, a really warm, welcoming group. And I love stepping in and being part of an ensemble. It's part of what I love about acting. And this ensemble really cares for one another. They have such great rapport, and there's still such warm feelings with everybody after almost a decade. You never know if that's going to be the case. And she said it was going to be the case, and it was the case. And I immediately was welcomed and embraced. And that, of course, it's daunting to step into a show in its final season. And so that really relaxed me immediately. Brad and everyone was just really, really welcoming. It's a great group and very light. I agree. That was welcoming too.
and also, Lizzie, if you don't mind, more.
More praise
Turning
for
out
Lizzie,
lovely for me. It's a wonderful afternoon.
What a panel.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
She knows the characters, every one of them. She's lived with them for 6 years now, but coming into the 6th season, any season, to know you can go to her and she has the answer. It's a remarkable experience to be on set with her. Remarkable. And this one isn't half bad either. Really gentle and loving, and chooses his words carefully, shall we say.
I knew Josh would fit in really well to this group, though, because this group is, make no mistake, they're super fun, but they're killers. They're really, really good, every single one of them. And they are capable of, and Josh is as well, because I worked with him on The Veil, so I knew this. They're capable of doing everything that they're talking about, having the best time, laughing and joking and acting like kids that won't be controlled. And then you say action, and it is like laser focused, digging deep, giving you the best performance they can possibly give, and taking that part really seriously. So it's this interesting dichotomy that I really value, and I think I kind of like to play in that world as well. And Josh, you have it too. You all have it. This thing of like, everything's totally fine and we're just having the best time, and then it's just like they just zero in and they give like, and it's so impressive, and yeah, so impressed by all of them.
So good. By the way, shout out for The Veil. That was a great show.
Oh, thank you.
Watch it if you haven't watched it.
Thank you very much.
We're running out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question that everyone asks you, and I don't want the answer that you give to everyone. Okay. So this weekend, the protests all over. How many people saw photos of people wearing the red gown with the white cap? Right. Now, granted, Margaret Atwood wrote that book a long time ago, and I know that the idea is that this has happened, this will happen, this has always happened, and that's a super depressing one for me to think about. But talk to me about looking at groups of people getting together to want to change something and using the iconography of your show. That is something you guys made that has tapped into a very visceral feeling for a lot of people. That's gotta be a huge, huge thing. And I want to hear like just your thoughts on it, like right now, maybe not the way it was 4 years ago or the way it will be, hopefully different in the future. How does that hit you right now?
I mean, I can say something I've never said because it just happened. I was just doing another show and I was offered there was a silly thing for social media, and I was offered like a fake red cloak to wear for this silly social thing. And I said no because not because I'm afraid of embarrassing myself. That's certainly obviously not the case, but like because I actually really value that costume and I value that color and I value that cloak, and it means something to me, and I take pride in it, wearing it. It's something I am proud. I consider it sort of sacred. It's a uniform. It's something that I think stands for something. And these guys can speak so much more eloquently about what it stands for. But for me, that's just a personal story of like, I was like, that's so interesting. Like, I won't put this on in jest. This is not silly. This is not a joke to me. Like, I think it's fun, super fun for people to like, obviously dress up your dogs. It's adorable. Super into that. Any pet costume is totally approved. But I take it seriously when I wear it, and that's the best way of me saying what it means to me.
So let's get a hand for that. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Please let them answer better.
Do you guys have anything you want to top that with? Because I don't know if you can.
I was just going to say that I think it's a fascinating time for the show to come out, and the reason that costume is so iconic. I read this book in 1985 when I was going to schmacting school. It didn't take.
So you did?
Yeah, I know. And it's a very weird time for this to come out. It speaks to the necessity, the nourishing, culturally nourishing thing about storytelling and the limits of storytelling at this particular moment. I hope what people take from this is not the joke that I make, that it's now a documentary, but that the real message is what is embodied in June's character, which is the idea that despair is a luxury that our children cannot afford, and that action is the antidote to despair. And I think the reason that this book and this show are, I hate this word, important, is because her point is that the things I took for granted, a more inclusive society, democracy, it was always inevitable. Margaret is always saying, it never was, it isn't now, and it never will be. You got to fight for it every day. So I hope people get a little bit of optimism. But I'm afraid I would have done the bit in the dress.
Absolutely.
When we
Without
first,
hesitation.
we first were shooting season 1 and Trump was elected, I remember texting Lizzie in a panic. And I said, what are we going to do? And she wrote back, don't let the bastards grind you down. That's one of the most beautiful phrases I have ever heard. And seeing these women wearing that, it's a sign of don't give up. The fight is yours. Everything Brad just said, please remember it. But I'll never forget that, and to think that he's elected again, and the joy in doing the work, where to place the rage, where to place the despair, as you said. Get to work, do it. Get on the streets, protest. No, you can't do this to us. It's all of those messages. Anyway.
Want to bring it home?
I'm good.
You just said pass. All right.
I just all said so beautifully. I think I don't
gorgeous.
have anything else to add to it.
Josh thinks we finally have our country back.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. Lizzie, I'm going to come to you, Lizzie, to wrap this all up. So we've spoken about this season. You said June's motherhood is such a central part of it. It's moving us toward where the show is going. Give us a sense, without spoiling anything, obviously, of what this final season, the feeling that people will have when they've watched that last episode. What will they take away? What's the central kind of beat of it?
I think of the last episodes as, like, it's hard for me to separate 9 and 10, partially because we made them at the same time, prepped them at the same time, all of that. So I do think of them as sort of one. I think that this season is so much about choice, and each of these characters has to choose whether they're going to go towards the darkness or go towards the light. And it's surprising, I think, which characters choose what, and it's complicated as to why they choose what they choose. That extends very much to all of these characters, probably especially Josh's character. The choices that we all make in the show, even the characters that are perhaps a bit more flawed, are complicated and are for reasons that are really interesting to explore. But I do hope that at the end, it's so hard to also talk about it without teasing anything, without spoiling anything. But I do think it is kind of what Brad said about rise up. It is important to speak out. It is important to not rest. It is important to fight for what you believe in and never, ever, ever, ever take it for granted. And it's important to tell that story and to tell that story for the next generation. Every time he says what, you've said a couple of times about children and, what is the despair that you say? It's so beautiful.
Despair's a luxury that children can't afford.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful, and I think it's a beautiful way of sort of summing up what this season is about and where we end, that we don't end in a place of despair. We don't get everything we want. Maybe we don't get exactly what you think we're going to get, but we have to hope. We have to hope, and we have to keep fighting. We have to keep writing and telling our stories. And anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox now, but I think that's what it's about to me. It's very personal, I think, to all of us.
Yes, I would agree.
It's
Yes.
personal, and
Deeply
we've all
personal.
ended shows before that I imagine we felt, personal feelings about. But this is different.
ready to go.
This is different.
Yeah.
Ready to go home. Yeah, this is different.
All right, let's have a big hand for the cast of The Handmaid's Tale, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.